Today, Bitcoin tested down below 20K and is currently trading around 19,600. And why did this dump happen? Well, the S&P 500 is down 1%. And of course, Bitcoin is just following the stock market. Remember, when the stock market is unstable, people are not confident to speculate on Bitcoin. And that's why there is a correlation. And that's why, well, when the stock market is bearish, Bitcoin is even more correlated because it's all based on confidence. Confidence to speculate. Right now, not much confidence to speculate. So what is Bitcoin going to do next? We are really close to our last low there, and it looks like we might be ready to test to a new low soon. So where are we going to go next? What prices should we look for? Well, we're going to discuss all of that and more in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and you should have hit the like button by now and have subscribed if you haven't already. I want to read a couple things I said on Twitter today. I said, unless you expect the stock market to not see any more downside at all and just go to the moon, well, then you should be not surprised if we hit new lows for Bitcoin. And I also said on Twitter that anyone that says, quote, I'm confident that Bitcoin bottom is in, end quote, as we're sitting like 10% away from the recent low, I think that these people are just trying to call the bottom, hoping that it's the bottom, and are going to take credit if it's the bottom. And then, if we dip to another lower low, they're going to call the bottom again and again and again and again until it's the low and then take credit for it. These types of people don't provide any value, guys. Like, I'm just going to give it to you straight. This is just kind of ridiculous that I keep seeing this on Twitter. Everyone's just calling the bottom. But guys, in this macro environment, I think we should just accept that nobody really knows. And it's really uncertain with the way that the Fed is going to be raising rates, the Mt. Gox Bitcoin release, all these fundamental things coming to a head. And people are, just kind of throwing out bottom calls here left and right. And I think that is just the wrong thing to do. Bitcoin is so close to a new low. The US dollar index is still consolidating at this high point, and it looks like the US dollar index wants to break out. It's just hanging out. There's no immediate rejection for the US dollar. The DXY spent 2 days at the top and then rejected over here back in July. Now we're just sitting at the top. We're not immediately rejecting and going down. We're sitting at the top. We're sustaining. We're getting support here. So it appears to me that the US dollar index is about to go on a major run. And if that does occur, Bitcoin's going to hit a new low. And that's not too crazy of a thought. A lot of people, get all emotional when you say, oh, we're going to hit new lows. But guys, look at the chart. We're really close. We're really close. It's quite possible. It doesn't have to happen, but it just seems likely right now, or at least a test of the low until the stock market gets its footing here. If we look at the S&P on the 3-day, we're just rejecting again. And it's possible that, maybe we see a little bit of upside in the short term, but we could be looking to retest that low and get some kind of double bottom down there. And if that does occur, well, Bitcoin is set for new lows. Bitcoin is not going to follow to just a double bottom. Bitcoin is dumping a lot more than the stock market. Or if you look at like this high here, the end of May, 4,168, the end of May to this low, the S&P dropped, 12% to the low there. Now, if you go from end of May to the low, end of May is like right here. Bitcoin dropped 44%, guys, from here to here. 44% down. While the S&P from here to here, same time frame, only went down 12%. If the S&P goes down, another, let's say 8%, Bitcoin could certainly at that point be going down another 20-30%. Now, hold on. Before you make assumptions and before you say Kevin's super bearish and he's saying that we should sell, that's not what I'm saying. This is not what I'm saying. You could look for short opportunities to trade short-term swings to the downside, shorting, right? But if you look at the long-term chart, even if we are going to test a slightly new low, these are historically fantastic accumulation zones, right? It's not about sniping the bottom perfectly. and you got to go all in at the exact bottom. Guys, most of us are not going to do that, right? It's not going to happen. You just average in as it moves down. And I think that we have only a few months left to the end of the year before we theoretically break the downward sloping resistance line, before we get above that. And that is usually the thing that initiates a bullish run. So we are really far down, meaning that we are, at an accumulation point. This isn't me trying to fearmonger and say it's all over. It's actually a buy zone. But I'm just giving you guys realistic expectations on what could be coming soon. So before you just make assumptions and label me as super this or super that, just remember, long term, it's still good accumulation. I mean, that's just what we've seen. That's just what we've seen, guys. And it's quite possible. It's quite likely. I mean, something that you could look at is like the downward sloping support line. You could look at this and then maybe look for a target that way. It would be coming in at about 14,000, which would coincide with the 2019 top for just about 14,000 there. That is possible if the S&P continues down. But like I just said, it doesn't have to happen. I suppose we could find a higher low and there could be some kind of recovery for the S&P, but I'm very skeptical right now. I'm currently leaning on the side of pessimism as we are in the Fed rate hike season, right? Eventually they're going to stop, but they're not stopping anytime soon. Like I've been saying on this channel, I do think that we are, getting close to the bottom. We're at least close to it. Now, I personally think that it doesn't really matter if you're buying like right here or a little bit lower for the long term. I mean, if you're just accumulating, you're just averaging in on the next leg down, if we get it, well, you should be doing pretty well, right? Regardless. And I do think that basically what we have to wait for, like I've been saying on my channel, what we got to wait for is we got to wait to see the US dollar index take that real final parabolic blow off top. And once we see that and the Fed basically starts to say, well, we're going to slow down on rate hikes. And as the US dollar at that point starts to go sideways, that's when Bitcoin is going to stop dumping. But if the US dollar index is just going to pump again, well, while that's happening, just be realistic. What's Bitcoin going to do? What are stocks going to do? I mean, that means that they're dumping. And after that, once the DXY starts going sideways, then we may be looking to build some kind of bottom formation in that range. But until then, yeah, I think we could go down, to as low as 14K. I think it's possible if the US dollar index goes parabolic. But that may end up just being a wick down on the weekly chart with a close higher, right? So it could be a limited sale, a limited fire sale down at those levels before DXY tops and we start going sideways finally. And then we're looking to recover into 2023. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. This is definitely not the time to be like trying to call the bottoms. I mean, not until the DXY is finished running. We have no punctuation on the trend. There's no punctuation here. What we usually see is like these massive blow off tops, break of the trend. Like we have this upward sloping trend line, 2015, break the trend line, right? Run up here, end of 2016, break the trend line. How does this usually go? I mean, we got to wait for at least a break of the trend line, which we're nowhere close to. So once we see a blow off top, a break of the trend line, then it's like, okay, now we have reason to believe that the bottom is in. But until then, lower prices are a strong possibility. Now, all of this can change if the US dollar index does just play out some kind of rejection down and we start to see this thing top out. Then, I would basically flip at that point, because I got the signal, I would flip bullish. But until then, I can't really flip, medium-term bullish until I get the signal. Like they say, it is a downtrend until it's not. It is, the trend is your friend until it's not. And right now, what do we got? Well, we got a downtrend, guys. Yeah, maybe we'll see a breakout towards the end of the year. That's all possible. But until then, we may see lower prices. This trend line comes in at about 14,000. And essentially that does line up with the S&P testing the low one more time and getting a horizontal low. But again, because Bitcoin's not taking these bounces as much as the stock market, well, that's a sign that there's not enough confidence. And because there's not enough confidence to speculate on a speculative asset like Bitcoin, which people are just interested in the returns only, you know, you're going to find less buyers when the stock market's unstable. Once we start to see the S&P really put in some kind of structure, this is when confidence returns to Bitcoin. And then we start to really see some upside. But right now, the way that this is set up for the S&P, it's kind of still just like a big question mark, right? Trying to draw a question mark. It's just a big question mark. Like, you know, until we get either a retest of the low and bounce, we confirm that structure, or we get a breakout of the resistance, confirm that structure breakout, right? Until then, it's just a downtrend, right? Downtrend until it's not. Bitcoin is a downtrend until it's not. And we are in a lower high trajectory. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. And the trend has not ended. And yes, if we do see some sort of like epic pump that comes out of nowhere, if we get like some CPI data or whatever, right? If something fundamental comes up and we get a huge breakout like that, yeah, I suppose that would be possibly a bottom confirmation, or, you know, a confirmation that the trend is ending. The downtrend is ending, and then we could recover. You know, with Bitcoin, it is possible to see like random days where it's just like, whoa, right? Where you see these epic pumps, which is why I'm saying that these are good accumulation prices. And you never know when those God candles are going to just flash based on some sort of news, right? Those God candles can just kind of flash their way into the market, unannounced, unexpected. And at that point, you better have had some accumulation that you've been doing, right? So again, it's good accumulation areas. I'm just looking for realistic expectations in the short to medium term here. That's what I'm talking about. But I mean, you really shouldn't care about what's on this chart right now if you're just a long-term player. You should just be buying and accumulating. But I'm not a financial advisor. And again, you know, all these people are going to be calling the bottoms, and then if we go lower, they're going to call the bottom again. I mean, I think we're close to the bottom, but I'm not going to sit here and just like, you know, try to call the bottom so I can take credit for it if it happens. I mean, that's not very helpful, right? But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.